people think when you're under a man, you have no purpose. Everything is under him and you're just like non-existing. That's not how that works. You're actually a representation of you both. You said is very similar to my story. Like my husband now, he was an average guy too. But his goal was to, be an entrepreneur and all those things. And he did. Now he's not an average man anymore. I got married at 25 as well. We started off kind of very quick. We didn't get married in 6 months, but we kind of was married. We basically lived together while we were in a relationship, like from the beginning. So that kind of like was a marriage, I would say. But then after that, we figured it out. During that time, I know you mentioned earlier about learning what men are and how they operate. I learned that a little early, and that was during our relationship because he was very challenging in the sense, and I was kind of confused. But I understood that a lot of things I had to do had to change. So the book that you guys were reading, I learned that just by being in a relationship with him. So I actually had that experience just by looking and observing what was going on. So, after those type of things, briefly, we got married on his accord, of course, in that sense. Just a lot of similarities. So that's what I do understand. Like, I don't know, being a wife is amazing to me. I wouldn't have it no other way.
So often, when I hear women talk about, they say something like, a woman still has her life. She's still a person. And in a marriage, it's just not about, a marriage is a relationship. A marriage is a relationship. But I often say this, when a woman says I do to her husband, her purpose begins at that time to be her husband. Then his plan is the plan for their life. Remember, you and your husband are becoming one. So my husband had a plan of being an entrepreneur. I say this often. I could have worked a job and been just fine. I could have been in corporate America and been just happy lark. But he was like, no, that's not smart. We're going to work smart. So I became a realtor under his advice, I suppose. But who can take away from that? Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a judge. My whole everything was, I wanted the black robe. And he sat me down. We had a conversation. He's like, okay, let's talk about this. Tell me why you want to be a judge. What is it? Is it the money? Is it this? Is it that? And he honestly told me that will change you. I don't know if I could be married to a judge. It's going to alter who you are because you're going to be all day, telling people what to do, judging. I mean, you're going to be on people. I mean, that's what y'all know what judges do. He said, I don't think you can't turn it off. So what is the reason? And I never even thought about that. I just wanted to be a judge. The ego of a woman, we want to do what we want to do. And he was like, listen, the gift of discernment is yours. God has given it to you. You can do that anywhere. It doesn't have to be, on a stage per se. And I was like, wow, I never thought of it like that. If it's money, y'all know I can make more money being a real estate agent than a judge. So it's like, okay, I got it. You're right. So it's that logical part that he brought to the emotional part of me just wanting to be successful. Mm-hmm. And, we did it. So I just want women to know that it's the purpose of the man, and they do guide you and lead you very well if they're interested in doing so.
I agree. I relate to that just a little bit briefly. I wanted to be a business owner in the sense of having a hair salon, and he did too. He wanted a barbershop. But then later on, he was like, no, we're going to do real estate. We're real estate investors.
Right.
So and he made me understand that logic. And at first I was like, he was like, well, why do you want to do this? Because he wanted to as well, but his perspective changed. And I was like, oh, I just want to be able to walk in my shop and open the door, click, whatever, and just run a business, and have employees. But he was like, that might be tiresome. Let's do something where we don't have to work as much. So okay, so yeah, I get that.
Yep.
So I want to ask you real quick, because you made this comment, and I've heard this idea floating around in the social media space, and I think it's a bit controversial, but you said, as soon as a woman gets married, her purpose becomes her husband. Would you mind expounding upon that? Why do you think that? What does that mean? What does that look like practically?
Okay, I think practically our creator made us from the rib of a man for the man. When we say I do, it's our job to be for the man, to become with the man spiritually. And that's basically it practically. And then you have to apply that to the regular life or however life, whatever life gives to you. And it's for him to decide because it's his plan. Remember, he was here alone. He has the plan. It's order for you all or for him to set that plan in motion and for you to follow. And see, that's when submission comes easy. When a man has a plan and you're on his purpose. And it doesn't mean excuse me. Let me say this. It doesn't mean that a woman can't be successful in a career,
Mhm.
but you just have to know that his purpose for your life is the marriage first. And then all those other things will come upon you. So that's what I mean.
Okay, no, thank you for clarifying. Lady Di, I don't know if you want to weigh in on that. That's how I said it, right? Lady Di?
Yes, Lady Di.
Okay, okay.
So yes, I agree with what she said. So I think people think when you're under a man, you have no purpose. Everything is under him, and you're just like non-existing. That's not how that works. You're actually a representation of you both. You see him, you see her, you see her, you see him. It's the same thing. That's why it says you become one. That's a true statement. And it's a good representation. It's not bad. Wives bring different things to the table. So everything that your man is not doing, the woman brings. It's like a good balance.
It is the
So
balance.
just think of, I don't know, you guys went to science class and you're like weighing things, you don't want it to be unbalanced. That doesn't look right. It will look unstable. So being a wife is just a stable lifestyle if you are into marriage. So that's
It offers that emotional side that men need. Men need love to endure marriage.
Mhm.
Marriage requires love. And the love requires the sacrifice. He needs to have that emotional side of him in order to do that. If not, it can't happen.
Right.
So excuse me, he needs to supply that. A woman needs that. Then we automatically, it's